Hello everybody, I'm Ajit K. Mishra. I'm here again with another session on well-being. There are various types of well-being. There is a psychological well-being, that means when we are mentally stable, we are stress-free and we know how to deal with stress, we know how to deal with our mental challenges or psychological challenges. It will mean that we have psychological well-being. There is something called social well-being. Our social well-being is determined by how we get along with people outside of us. So, if we are comfortable in their company, if we feel socially relevant and socially worthy, that means we are experiencing social well-being. Spiritual well-being is the connection that we have with our inner self and the wider world. The connection that is established through various things. It can be established through, say, a religion, religious practices. It can be established through music, art, sculpting, dance. It can be established through several things. So spiritual well-being will mean that we are connected with higher powers when it comes to determining our well-being. And then physical well-being is very, very important because we have grown up learning that a healthy mind lives in a healthy body. So if this body is not healthy, if we are not experiencing physical well-being, we cannot assure our mental well-being or psychological well-being or even our social well-being, our spiritual well-being. So it's very important that we take care of this body because it is all that we have. Within it, we can experience all other forms of well-being. So the well-being of this body is absolutely essential. Similarly, we also expand and then we go and work at places. So in order to ensure our professional well-being, it's very, very important that we also contribute to the overall well-being of our workplace or work environment. Because if every employee contributes to the overall well-being of the workplace or the work environment, that will also ensure that we are experiencing professional well-being. So professional well-being can be experienced when we have a professional value, we are recognized, we are appreciated, we are acknowledged, respected, and people can depend on us, we are reliable, we are credible. So when all these things get your approval, then you know that you have professional well-being. So with that, I'll now take you to something that is very, very essential to our understanding of well-being, because these things to a great extent determine how our well-being will happen. So these are called life positions, developed by Eric Berne, the famous psychologist. Life positions are the basic beliefs that we hold about ourselves and others, which are generally used to justify our decisions and our behaviors. So our life positions are generally shaped by our early experiences, but that doesn't necessarily mean that only the early experiences will shape our life positions. But as we move out, interact with people, spend time with them, our life positions also get altered or redefined or determined again. So generally until the age of 7, most of our life positions are determined, but that's not the only thing. Life positions can also be determined thereafter. So whether we view ourselves and others are as okay or not okay is what we mean by life position. So being okay refers to notions of being good or worthy. It is believed that everyone enters the world okay, in an okay state, but thereafter the not okay thing happens. So why does that happen? What are the implications of being okay or being not okay. Let's take a look at each of these things. Let's start with the first component, the first grid. As you can see in this quadrant, there are 4 grids, and all these grids propose a different state. Let's start with the first state, that is, I'm okay, you're okay position. This is the healthiest position, this is the best position. So, in this position, a person gets on with others and may be described as confident and contented. So, when you're confident and contented, that means you're experiencing subjective well-being, you're experiencing a high quality life, or you're living a high quality life, you're experiencing high satisfaction with your life. So, such a person will be very confident and contented within their work, home and life as a whole. So, and such person mutually respect others' thoughts and opinions, even if they disagree with them. That means such people generally take care of themselves, they also take care of others as well. And for example, if I say I'm okay, that means I'm taking care of myself well. I'm self-aware, I know what's happening in my life, I know my emotions, my behaviors, my thoughts, my feelings, I know several things about myself. At the same time, I also know what's happening outside. That means I also know others very, very well. So that way I can take their perspectives, I can go and interact with them nicely. The next position is I'm okay, you are not okay. So this is not a healthy position, because in such a position a person generally tends to be angry, hostile and feeling superior to others. In such a position, a person will end up perceiving all others as incompetent and incapable of anything. So that way the person will show a great amount of disrespect for others. So that's how we generally end up belittling other people around us. For example, if I and my friend are working on something and my friend is doing something and I'm observing my friend doing that, if I suddenly tell my friend that, no, you don't know how to do this, let me do this, and I in a way snatch that task from my friend and then start to do it, that will mean that I'm using this one-up like position. That means I'm superior, you are not superior, you're not superior at all, you're not capable at all, you're not good at anything. We generally come across such people who will keep telling others around them that you can't do it as well as I can do that. So in a way we end up belittling people around us. So we generally end up finding faults with others. Just imagine an organization scenario where your supervisor or your HR manager or your boss even, they end up finding faults with everything that you do. How would you feel? So this is not a proper life position. In this, we generally end up belittling others, we generally end up disrespecting others while we treat ourselves as superior. So the next life position is I'm not okay, you are okay. This is again not a very healthy life position, because in such a life position people are generally unhappy and then they generally describe themselves in words that are very, very derogatory and that are very, very self-destructive. Such people lose connection with themselves. They do not know much about themselves. They don't try to discover things about themselves. They're not self-aware people. So that's the reason why they don't have any connection with themselves, and they lack any self-belief. And they often put themselves down by either not at all valuing themselves or at best undervaluing their skills and contributions in life. So they always feel very, very inferior, unlike the I am okay, you're not okay position, which is one up position. This is one down position. That means you're treating yourself as very inferior, as useless, as stupid even. So such people generally, please or try to please others in multiple ways to gain approval, because they don't have any self-confidence. And that's the reason why they end up cursing themselves, blaming themselves, and that's the reason why they say, I'm not okay, you are okay. So the next life position is I'm not okay and you are not okay life position. So this is a terrible life position in which nobody, no side is okay at all. So when I'm not okay, you're not okay position is adopted, it actually leads to a sense of abandonment. And then all sorts of negative strokes happen in this state. So that leads to meaninglessness, purposelessness, pointlessness, and then people don't have anything to do in life, because both the people say that it's not a good position and we're not doing anything and we're not going anywhere. So such a life position will generally result in withdrawal symptoms. People begin to withdraw from life because they don't have any connection with life. It will also lead to depressive disorders as well. So these are the most important life positions that Eric Berne has talked about. If we need to understand how well-being can be determined, how well-being can be ensured, it's very important that we understand these life positions, because all of us adopt one or the other life position in our everyday activities. So once we are familiar with these life positions, it will be easier for us to look at ourselves and look at others in a better way. For example, if I have been belittling my colleagues, my friends, I'll stop doing that, because we all are different in some way or the other, and we all are competent in some way or the other. No single person can ever claim to have all competencies. So I may have to look forward to somebody else's competency when it comes to team working, or when it comes to working on a project or working on a task collectively. So I must have that respect. Once we are familiar with these life positions, it will mean that we change our attitude towards others, we cultivate different beliefs and values, and then with all these things, we can actually approach others with the right kind of empathy. So with that, we come to the end of this session. I'm sure you have taken note of the things that I talked about, and you are also going to explore these aspects of well-being. And when I meet you in the next session, I'll be talking about some other aspects of well-being. Until then, bye-bye.